Hey y'all, I'm making a video. I have to be really, really fucking careful how I make my videos from now on here because they're literally looking for my next any kind of violation and they're going to instantly take me down. So we're going to be really careful how we make this video. If you want to hear more, I'm trying to think where I'm going to be posting. Anyway, I'll put some stuff up. Anyways, okay, let's get into the topic of what I want to talk about right now. So I recently was scrolling and came across this Charlie Kirk video. You know, most times when Charlie's talking to the potatoes in the audience, mostly at liberal universities, I don't really get that upset. Full disclosure, I think people think that my target age group are like 20-year-old liberals. Do you guys remember yourselves at 20? We thought we had everything figured out. We thought we knew everything. We were ballsy and angsty and screaming at people. But here's the thing. When we screamed back then, it was misguided. It was because we were angry and we wanted to we wanted to be important. We wanted to contribute to something. But we didn't really have the wisdom to understand what we were necessarily yelling and screaming and fighting for. That's why when you watch most young people in liberal universities, they have a lot of conviction and they're very passionate about what they're discussing. But then every time you start to probe and ask the bigger questions, they can never answer them. I'm not saying all people in universities are like this, but the majority of 20-something-year-olds and younger don't have any idea what they're even fighting for. That's why when you would ask people from the river to the sea, right? And then they would ask them, what river, what sea? And most of the 20-year-olds are like, I don't know, but free Gaza, free Palestine. You're fighting for something. You're screaming. You are demonizing. You are abusing and harassing other people for not holding the same beliefs as you. But then if you ask those same young people what those phrases mean and what they stand for, most times they can't tell you what it means, right? Or what it stands for. So why are they fighting? Why are they screaming? They're screaming because they're inherently angry inside. There's something lacking within. It's not the reason a mother of 4 in her 40s who has a family that went through communism. It's not the same reason why I'm screaming, right? They're screaming because they're young and they're angsty and they want to fight for something. And believe it or not, most young trans people, I really do have some hope that they're going to grow up, get their head out of their ass and start to understand life a little better. And then they're going to actually start to fight for things that matter, right? Not like fighting to stop Doge from finding money when it's being funneled to help study mice and the effects of transgenderism on mice, right? I think most young people think those things are important at 25, but I think by the time they're 45, they understand paying their bills and taking care of their children are more important. Follow me so far? So then why are so many young people under the age of, 30? Why are they all so angry and misguided? Because they lack God and they lack spirituality. Now, I'm not saying they have to be Christian. I'm not saying you have to be anything. I'm saying something bigger than yourself. Something that governs you bigger than yourself or your fellow man or YouTube or the TV or JoJo Siwa or kink shaming or whatever. Something bigger than yourself guiding you and grounding you in your life. They don't have it. Most people that are that young these days don't. And you know who failed? We did. Our generation failed. I don't understand why our generation, people my age and up, failed this generation so bad. And I'm one of them. I should have absolutely shoved God down my kids' throats. And I didn't. You know why I didn't? Because I too was young and I was convinced that that's not the way. I was convinced that I'd be a boomer. And it's bad. It's bad to force your kids to believe in God. Really? Because I sure missed that boat. Not that I didn't teach them basics or foundation of Christ, but I really should have done more, and I didn't. There's reasons for all of this, but I didn't. I missed that ship. That ship sailed. And now my kids, in a lot of ways, are lost. Does that mean they're lost forever? Does that mean that spiritually their soul will always be lost? No. But it means that I failed my kids because I didn't. So I'm going to post a video here, and I want everybody to watch something. This is part 1, because it's going to be a 2-parter. I want to build this up here first and explain to you what I'm saying, and then I'll show you the video in part 2. This is very, very disturbing. When God got removed from this country and from the world, something else took its place. When you think about early cavemen, you go back, what is it? How many thousands of years? There's the cave in France. I forgot the name of it, but it's the one that humans had to stop coming in because they kept touching the walls and fucking it up. So they had to shut down the real cave and open the second cave up. That's a replica of the real cave. Because in the real cave, it's like 20,000 years old. And there's like actual cave drawings. It's like the first known paintings of man. People were touching it, fucking it up. So they had to shut it down. But they replicated it. The first paintings that humans have ever done, there is absolute worship involved. You can tell they were worshiping something bigger than themselves. These are cavemen. They have no concept of anything, yet they had a craving from within to worship something, to come to something bigger than themselves, to explain life. The Greeks did it with mythology. It's just something inherently that people have. When you take God, a higher being, a higher power, higher than yourself, out of the picture, people are lost. Humanity becomes lost. And what they do is they start to fill that with other things, right? YouTube stars, influencers, celebrities, rap stars. All these things become what you use to fill in your emptiness, right? You follow me so far? So that's what's happening, number 1. So you take these angry, empty, lost young people who don't have parents strong enough to guide them. And what you have is a world that is completely empty and completely lost. And it's spiraling on this path of destruction because there's nothing to believe in. Nothing. We are in a time of the world where it's like people are craving God to come back. If you go on postings just randomly, I'm not talking left, I'm not talking right. If you're just on Facebook and you just randomly start looking at comments, if someone mentions God these days, do you notice how many likes and hearts, comments talking about God are getting now since Trump got in? See, I'm autistic. I watch these things. I like patterns. I like looking at things. I like studying them and seeing if there's differences and changes, even the slightest bit. And you know what I noticed? Prior to Donald Trump getting in office, if there was a post of God or a mention of God in any commentary, people would sit back and not say anything because the trolls would come out, the atheists would come out, and they would start shit talking. And people were too scared to say anything or fight back. Not anymore. Follow me for part 2, because I have a theory and I know why.